of time. Anil Thanki is the Holloway branch manager at the London Vape company who sell e-cigarettes. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
Can we just go through a few facts? Because there will be people listening that don't know what an e-cigarette is or don't know the ins and outs or everything about it or might be thinking about it. First of all, if you can just answer these briefly, because I just want to get to the debate, but let's just go through the facts. What is actually in an e-cigarette? There is tobacco, isn't there?
No, actually...
nicotine. There is nicotine.
Yes, so there is nicotine, a variable amount depending on what your needs are. However, in the actual liquid itself, you've got food-grade vegetable glycerin, propylene glycol, which is used in asthma inhalers, nicotine, and then either artificial or natural flavourings. Right,
and my understanding is that instead of using tobacco to burn it and create the smoke that goes into your lungs, which causes, the horrific conditions that smokers can suffer from and cancer, it's water vapour. The battery creates a vapour, heats it up, and you're breathing it in through water vapour. Is that right?
So essentially, yes. I mean, what the battery's doing is heating a small coil of metal, which is wrapped in cotton, which has the juice on it, and it superheats that and vapourises it, which you then inhale.
So it's as addictive as an ordinary cigarette, then?
Well, to an extent. I mean, the addictive part in cigarettes isn't anything but the nicotine. And we provide the nicotine in our liquids at varying degrees, including no nicotine whatsoever. So, for somebody who's smoking 20 cigarettes a day, they might start off on 12 milligrams of nicotine and slowly make their way down to actually having no nicotine. So they've now got no addiction whatsoever to nicotine.
Are people buying e-cigarettes who don't smoke?
Very rarely do you see it, to be honest. The sort of normal nicotine-filled ones, I can't remember the last time I actually sold one to somebody who didn't smoke. They are mainly used as smoking cessation devices.
So you think that people are turning to e-cigarettes because they don't want to quit smoking? Let's face it, all smokers want to quit smoking, and if they say they don't, they're lying. I can tell you that as a former smoker myself, right? So people are turning to e-cigarettes, in your experience, as an alternative to smoking what they deem to be more harmful tobacco-laced cigarettes.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I smoked for 3 years some very strong cigarettes, about 20 a day, and I tried nicotine patches and nicotine mints and everything like that.
Rubbish, useless. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely terrible. I happened to be given a little e-cigarette, and within about a couple of days, I'd thrown away my last packet of cigarettes and just carried on with this. It's a genuine alternative.
Did it have the same effect, though, as a tobacco cigarette? Did you feel you were getting the same hit?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, on the inhale, you sort of feel that buzz in the back of your throat, and you get that nicotine relaxation feel. And, I mean, I started out on 18 milligrams of nicotine, and I'm now down to nothing.
Right, because the next guest I'm going to speak to you is from the Alan Carr Addiction Clinics, and having read Alan Carr's book, I know that the only reason why a cigarette makes you feel more relaxed is because you've had a hit of nicotine. I mean, you are addicted to a drug. So do you still see yourself as a nicotine addict then? Anil?
Well, no, because I feel I'm over that. I'm now on 0% nicotine.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you're still on an e-cigarette, so
yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay, and are you seeing any young children or young people trying to come into your store to buy perhaps even nicotine-free e-cigarettes?
Well, I mean, we've now been open for just over a year with 3 branches and a 4th coming soon, and it's happened maybe once or twice. Somebody walks in, clearly not over the age of 18, and they get turned around and straight back out the door.
Because it is a worry, isn't it, that it's making smoking nicotine attractive and trendy, because you can get strawberry flavour, mint flavour as well.
Well, I think when it really comes down to it, if somebody's going to want to smoke, they will buy cigarettes. It is not a matter of attempting to get something because it's glamorized. I think it's a pure reason that they want to smoke or look cool, and that's kind of a ridiculous point.
Okay. Anil, will you just stay on the line, just
Absolutely.
while I bring in John Dicey, who's the Worldwide Managing Director and Senior Therapist for Alan Carr Addiction Clinics. Good evening to you, John.
Good evening.
So, people are quitting tobacco-laced cigarettes, of all those harmful toxins going into your body in smoke, because of e-cigarettes. This is surely a good thing, isn't it?
Yes, I congratulate the guy you're talking to there on having stopped smoking and becoming nicotine-free. I mean, Alan Carr's sort of Easyway organisation, supports anything that helps smokers quit addicts escape. But unfortunately, the chap who's speaking to there is quite the exception. I mean, undoubtedly there are some people who have stopped smoking with the devices, but our research by NICE indicates that something around 80% of people who use e-cigarettes continue to smoke.
And is there a danger that you could quickly snap back to tobacco-laced cigarettes as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're saying, is that 80% of people who use them still smoke.
Right.
The whole argument for e-cigarettes is they reduce the harm.
Because Alan Carr, in his book, he says that there is no such thing as a substitute for smoking. You've got to quit. You've got to give up the weed, no matter what. No patches. Obviously, e-cigarettes weren't around in his time, but he's never believed in alternatives.
No, exactly. I mean, who wants to be addicted to anything? I mean, that's the point. A major downside of addiction, aside from the health concerns or whatever else, is just the fact you've got to spend your money on something against your better judgment, really.
So do you think it's dangerous then to suggest, as it has been suggested today, that the NHS should start prescribing e-cigarettes?
Yeah, there's so many sides to this argument. It's difficult to sort of sum it up in a nutshell, but I mean, certainly it would be much better if e-cigarettes had been available from on prescription in the first instance. That would at least sort of prevent them sort of being appealing to youngsters and kids who, again, in spite of the guy you're talking to there, our evidence shows that this is a gateway into smoking for real, that the youngsters are trying e-cigarettes younger than they might have tried normal cigarettes. So no, it's unfortunately going to be a waste of money. As I said, even NICE have said plenty of studies on the way which confirm this, that a vast majority of people who use e-cigarettes carry on smoking, and therefore there is no health benefit.
Well, let's bring Anil in to respond to that. Anil, it does encourage people to smoke, be it in a perhaps slightly safer way, and it, perhaps should have been a prescription-only device.
Well, I mean, I challenge that. First of all, talking about people quitting, I mean, I within the shop I see a huge quantity of people coming in and saying, thank you, I have genuinely packed up smoking. I've had people walk out the door and throw their cigarettes into the bin, which is massive.
But John's point is they're still addicted to nicotine, and they could still slip back into real tobacco cigarettes.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's of course a risk, and it's as much as any other smoking cessation device, it's down to willpower. If you're onto nicotine patches or something along those lines, you're still addicted to nicotine.
So would you like to see them prescribed on the NHS then, Anil?
I have to say, I think it would
might put you out of business.
Well, I mean, it might put me out of business, but to be honest, we wouldn't be in this business if we all weren't, most of us are all ex-smokers, and we genuinely believe in what we're selling. We got into the business to help people out, and it's fantastic. So to see it prescribed on the NHS, if it's done right, would be absolutely fantastic, and it still leaves the option open for people to come to us and find something a little bit more interesting.
John Dicey, a final word from you?
Yeah, well, I think our main concern with e-cigarettes is purely that the long-term health effects of smoking and vaping at the same time, which is the vast majority of people who use e-cigarettes carry on smoking, won't be known for decades. So it's unfortunately a lot of confusion out there regarding the long-term health effects.
So where you're coming from, if you're going to quit, quit.
Absolutely.
Okay, John Dicey, many thanks for your time. John Dicey there, the senior therapist for Alan Carr Addiction Clinics. Also, thank you to Anil Thanki as well, the Holloway branch manager at the London Vape Company. Are you on e-cigarettes? Have they helped you give up? Do you find them a better alternative? Do you think they should be prescribed on the NHS? Do get in touch. 0207 224 2000. Here's Billy.